Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are. Okay, y'all, KJ here. Tonight, I'm having a pajama party. Y'all remember those back when we were kids? I'm in a room in the house that I've made up for my mother. Some of her pictures line the walls here along with some of my artwork. And I can't help but think about those days when I was younger, having those slumber parties and sleepovers. You might be wondering why I'm going down this road. Well, as I posted on the community wall, I want to think outside of the box to try to elicit things that normally, would not be spontaneous for old KJ. In other words, let me explain it like this. There's been this thing about communication. They say some people are really, really good communicators as they're sitting in their car or, it's almost like you let your guard down and you live out things and things can come out of that. Information can come out that normally you wouldn't have. Now, with that said, I know this is a video. I know I'm pre-recording. So it's not reality TV per se, but a pajama party isn't a pajama party without a buddy, huh? So I want to get everybody in here with my pajama buddy, my bestest buddy, Mary in her pajamas. Get over in here, Mary. Mary, we're going to talk a lot about the Chad and Lori Daybell case tonight. You don't know a whole lot, do you?
Not a whole lot.
Well, do you remember having sleepovers and pajama parties and slumber parties when you were a kid?
Oh, yes.
How about a memory? Could you share a memory with any of us about when you had a sleepover when you were very young? And how old were you, by the way?
I don't remember. My cousin used to come down all the time from Frankfort, Kentucky and spend the night with us and stuff. And I used to get mad at her a lot because there'd be something on television that I wanted to watch and she'd say, well, I'm company and you've got to let me watch what I want to.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember those days of, you would watch a scary movie or you would watch something, everybody would get down on the floor and have them a bowl of popcorn or something just to let y'all in on it. Here is a picture of me when I was in the 7th grade, and I remember having my first sleepover. Now, I'm telling y'all, I wanted to make friends, and I invited a bunch of girls. I'd invited maybe 8 to 10 girls, and I was so excited, and only 2 girls showed up. But it was just as fun. I had just as much fun with those 2 girls, and we became lifelong friends. Anyway, I'm 51, and how old are you, Mary?
67.
67, and Mary is humoring me by actually coming over to my house to sleep over at a pajama party. It must be very funny asking your husband to let you, well, not asking him to let you, but at least telling him you're coming over here for a pajama party. What did he have to say about it?
Typical male. That's all I can say.
I've been alone all week, and Mary's been texting me and coming by during the day and checking up on me and asking me, do I want this or that? Wonderful, wonderful neighbor that she is. But I thought, a pajama party. What all could we learn at a pajama party? There's a lot of different areas of this criminal cases we're covering where we could find little bits of information to get justice through understanding. It's not about KJ coming on here and sharing anything new with you, really. It's about you opening your mind up and putting yourself there. Leave it in the comments, anything that might come to mind, even if it doesn't have anything to do with this case. It'll be a lot of fun if you'll join along with us. And so with that, let's get started. Now, what in the world will we do at a pajama party?
Talk about old times, good times, cooking.
Cooking, that's a good idea. Back when I was a kid, the parents would usually make some some really good dish like homemade pizza or something like that. And if we were lucky, they might get us all McDonald's that evening. But mostly it was a bunch of junk food that us kids would get to have at slumber parties and just stay up late and have a good time. Mary, now that we're older, I don't guess we can live like we did when we were kids. How about we show all the Rays a few recipes in the kitchen that older people having pajama parties enjoy, okay? So here we go. We're going to go on into the kitchen. First things first, and we're going to break these pre-records down for each section. So this will be section 1. I mean, come on, what do you got to lose, right? You might learn something about cooking. Not only that, we're going to talk a little bit here and there, in and out of this case. And I'm looking so special, aren't I, y'all, in my jammies and my wigged out hair. So we're going to get started. I want you to step up here, Mary. Now, tonight we are going to be making KJ's favorite country fried steak. And I'm going to keep it simple on the menu. In other words, we're going to have country fried steak with white gravy and a twice baked potato. And I thought, well, I got to get the steak on first. So we're going to start off with that. Now, listen up. You just might learn something. I'm going to go in here. What I use sirloin steak, right? And, you know, many of y'all might think, well, KJ, I know how to make country fried steak. Well, let me show you the easy way. 2 things that old KJ has to have: paper plates and Ziploc bags. Makes it very simple to make my favorite dish. So I'm going to take these 2 sirloin steaks. Now, you can make more than just 2 if you've got a larger group of people. But since it's just me and Mary here tonight, we're going to try it out and see how it goes. Now, I have one of those hammers that beat the meat, and I was going to get it out and say you can use one of those to, beat down your meat now. But old KJ uses a saucer. That's what I do. So can you lean in here? This is what we're going to do. I start out by taking the side of my plate, and I do it like this, y'all. I just beat the hell out of it, It's good choice cut of sirloin. We want that good. We want to go one direction and then turn around and go the other direction. Now, if you want to use cube steak, you can, but I'm telling you, if you want the real deal, you'll go with sirloin. I've even tried this with filet mignon and with ribeye, but ribeye is more fatty and it falls apart. The sirloin is more together, so I'm going to do that, okay? I'm going to get it all beat down, all right? Now that I've got it all beat down, what do we got to do? I take my Ziploc bag. And I crack 3 eggs into the bag. All right, I got my 3 eggs in there, y'all. You see them? Then I take me a 1/4 cup of milk, pour it in there with it, close the bag. All right, so that's simple. And the cleanup's easy too. You don't have to take a separate bowl and then you got to end up washing the bowl. Then the next thing you want to do, and it all depends on how you want your country fried steak to taste. I'm using some shallots with 1 teaspoon of garlic salt because I'm not going to put regular salt. There's enough in this, really. So I'm going to throw that in there. And then I'm going to use, this is what I use, Grill Master's Montreal seasoning. And I take about a tablespoon of that and I put it in there. Shut the bag. Again, I'm doing it to it, y'all. I'm doing it to it. Now that I've got that in there, what am I going to do? I'm going to put my steaks in there. I'm going to stick them in there for a minute. close the bag. Get her good. Splish splash, I was taking a bath all along the Saturday night. Okay? Now, I've got a secret to this now. Now, I'm going to put now I want y'all to come over here real quick. I'm getting my pan ready. I use extra virgin olive oil, and I just lined the bottom of it. And I'm going to put this on almost a medium high is what I'm going to do it. It's going to be it's going to be not hot, but it's going to be hot enough that when I put that in there, I'm going to immediately turn it over. So let's get back over here. We're going to double dip, y'all. We're going to double dip the steak to get it good and ready. In other words, we're going to take the flour that's already in a bag, and we are going to take our sirloins, move them around in the egg mixture and milk, stick them in the bag. Obviously, we're going to do this, right? A lot of people say, well, that's enough. That's enough. Well, yeah, it is enough. And if you don't like a lot of breading on your country fried steak, you could just go with this one time. But KJ has to have it her way. KJ takes it, puts it back in the egg mixture. Here we go again. I'm splishing and a splashing. Then I'm going to take it back out and put it in the flour mixture. And you're going to get messy, y'all. It's just no way around it. But hey, trust me, you're going to think, oh, I'm going to slap my mama. This is so good. Stick it back in the flour. Now, this time you don't stick both of them in the flour. You only stick one. You move that bad boy around in there. Let me show you. Stick that bad boy back in there real good. Remember, I told y'all, Ziploc bags and paper plates. The cleanup's easy. You get her in there good. Move it around. We gotta wait for that oil to get hot, so we stick it on a paper plate or whatever. Y'all don't have to use paper plates, but that's what it's gonna look like right there. So we're gonna go ahead. We're gonna wait for that grease to get good and hot. KJ's gonna rinse up real quick. And if you're doing just 2 big size country fried steaks, 3 eggs will do it. You might even get 4 out of it because there's just a tad left over in the Ziploc bag there. But guess what happens when I'm done with that? I'm through. You see, it's over. I don't have to wash a dish that my flour's gone. It's all good, So now that we're waiting on that oil, we're going to get to the next part of the dinner that I'm making for our pajama party. Let's step back, bring this in. We are having twice baked potatoes. And many of y'all know what those are. These potatoes have been boiled in water. You can put them in a microwave, but I like mine boiled because they're just better. So what you do is you split it. Split it open like that. You take your spoon, hollow out the inside, put the remaining bit of it in this bowl. It's almost like making mashed potatoes, really. But we're going to put a little extra slice on that. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna make it a little bit more special. You see how that's emptied out right there? I'm going to stick that right here for right now. We're going to get the other one. We're going to hollow it out. And I'm telling you, to boil a potato, really, I think brings the flavor out more than in the microwave. But if you ain't got a lot of time to do it, then the microwave's fine. It's just, it gets rubbery on the outside. So you hollow that out. Let's get the other one done. Again, I'm sharing it with y'all. Some of y'all said y'all wanted to see old KJ cooking, so here I am at my pajama party. Y'all think Lori, do y'all think she's having one of these meals tonight in the jail cell over there? Or do you think she's got one of those kosher meals where she gets yogurt or something? What do you think, Mary?
Hope she happened to eat a damn bologna sandwich.
I guarantee you, Lori Hussey Daybell is not having what Mary and old KJ's having for dinner tonight. So, we get that. We hollow the second one out. And let's stop. Let's go back over here. Step right here. Our steak is ready to be put in here now that it's gotten hot. Remember, you're not on high, but you're not on medium either. You're kind of in between medium and high. Okay, stick that in there. Get back to the bowl over there. Here we go. What are we going to do, y'all? Just like you would if you're making mashed potatoes, but you're not going to make them. You're going to leave some lumps in it. So you add you a little milk, depending on how many potatoes you're going to do. And then you add you a little butter, salted butter. Y'all, I can't live without my salted butter. Then you take your... that, move it around in there. You might have to say, well, maybe I need to add a little more milk. Maybe not. But it's supposed to be lumpy. It's not supposed to be completely creamy. That's the whole thing about a twice-baked potato. You leave some lumps in there, all right? But here's the kicker, y'all. Instead of just butter and milk, you add just a tad bit of sour cream. And I like to put about a tablespoon in there. And instead of doing that, I just kind of, beating it with the beater again. I just kind of just move it around in there. All right. And you can put regular table salt on it after it's done to your taste. But let's get to it. Let's get to filling these up. Here we go. Oops. All right, y'all see? Fill that bad boy up. Fill it up. Then what are you going to do with it, y'all? What are you going to do? Look, I'm going to show you. You put 1 pat of butter. You put some cheese, and you get you some real bacon bits. Don't get none of that imitation plastic shit. You see what I'm saying? You stick that bad boy in there, grab you another one. You got it going on, y'all. You got it going on when you can do this. Again, another pat, 1 little teaspoon of butter in the very center. Your cheese on top. And your bacon bits.
I've never made those, so you're teaching me something.
Well, this is a simple recipe. And they have at TGI Fridays, or you can buy the potato skins in like restaurants and stuff for appetizers. But these big ones, they're part of the meal. They're part of the entree, So you get that. Remember, a pat of butter. I didn't put another pat out here, but maybe somebody who doesn't want butter can have this one. Make sure you put, this one wants extra bacon. Okay, there you go. Check it out. There it is. Now I'm going to show them to you. There's what they look like, all right? I'm fixing to put them in the oven at 375 for 20 minutes. Now let's get back to this. Here's your steak. You got to make sure the breading stays on it. You see what we're talking? Bring it down. There we go. All right, now that you've got that in there, what are you going to do? You're going to turn it down to about between medium and low. That's all I can tell you. Now, let's back up. Because we're making country fried steak and we're waiting on those twice-baked potatoes to get done, we got to have the gravy, right? We got to have the gravy for the country fried steak. This is the simplest recipe you're ever going to get. And you probably use it already, but KJ's sharing it for those that want to learn, okay? So, I start out right here. The 4 little pats. It's about almost half a stick of butter. It's 4 tablespoons. Let me make sure it ain't teaspoons. It's 4 tablespoons of butter, okay? And you put it on high. You put it on high. Look at that. That's good stuff. Let me move this. And what we're going to do is we're going to get this good and hot. And another thing, this has to be, the country fried steak has to be put between medium and low to cook, because if you have it on a higher heat and you try to turn them over, you're going to lose your breading. So that's why you have to turn it down after the initial crusting of turning them over once on both sides. Then you cut it down and let it cook. Now some would say, KJ, you know, that's sirloin steak. You know, can someone ask for that to be medium well, or well done? It is not country fried steak unless it's well done, folks. That's just the way it is. I've never known anyone who has had medium rare country fried steak. And if they do, it just don't sit right with me, with a little blood in it getting mixed up with your white gravy. Okay, now look, here we go, y'all. This is getting all, bring this down over in here. Okay, you ready? Okay, so the first thing we're gonna do when this butter melts is put in, it's 4 tablespoons of butter, 4 tablespoons of flour. And you're gonna shake that around, get up in there. You're gonna shake that around. It's gonna almost look like a creamy thing, but where's my damn, can't find my damn, oh, here it is. Then you add you some pepper, a lot of pepper, okay? I don't care if you think, oh, I don't want a lot of pepper, KJ. What you doing, look, see how it's almost a light color, but you gotta wait on high. You gotta tin this bad boy. You want it to taste good. When it starts to really start to get caramelized looking on the edges, you add 2 cups of milk. All right, and you still got it on high. And you still have to stand here and tend it. You gotta mix it all up real good. You're like, oh, well, that don't look like gravy, that looks like milk. Well, give it a minute. The high is going to make it start to bubble, and when it does, that's when you gotta continue to tend it. You can wait just a second, but you got to tend it. Now, every so often, you gotta go back to your country fried steak and turn it over. Under the top of this skillet, it's really helping it cook more than the actual bottom of the skillet. It's getting the flavors all together. Now, I always tell everyone, don't wait till this thing is so thick when you're sitting there stirring and then take it off. There's a point where it's still real liquidy, but it just starts to get thick. That's when you immediately take it off the burner, because you're going to have to wait a few minutes to serve it, and while it sits, it thickens. So you do want it to be a little loose on any of all that. And this is probably the most impatient that I get about anything about cooking. I got to sit here, it's on high, and just doing that. Let's check this out, make sure. Can you come down here? Let's look and see how these are going. You see that? Let's see if you can see. Yeah, there they go. Okay. Now let's go back to this. Now get up in here. Y'all see how it's starting to thicken up just a tad, but it still looks kind of like milk? Well, just give it a second. You'll see it. Give it a second. This is the whole purpose of milk gravy that goes on the country fried steak. It's got to be a certain way for it to taste right. It's fixing to come up there. Here we go. You know how they say you can't watch boiling water? Here it is. You see it? You see it starting to do it? All right, now it's getting thick. Right when it does that, you take it off. Because as it sits, it's going to thicken. So, I'm going to finish with my country fried steak and my twice baked potatoes. And we're going to go into another aspect of a pajama night. We have truth or dare. we have story time. You remember when you were young and y'all would sit around and tell stories, or maybe you didn't. Maybe this will be the first time that you'll get to see old Mary and KJ in our 50s and 60s have a little fun. You think I would go for telling the truth, or do you think I'd take a dare? So, y'all get ready. This is part 1. We're getting the food ready for our pajama party, and we're going to talk a lot more about the criminal case that we're studying. Get your jammies on, folks, and keep on looking.